Good morning, honourable members, Deputy Speaker, and all the honourable members. You're welcome to this first programming meeting. I would like to welcome all parties and their representation for today's participation. Agenda has been circulated to members, and I would like to hear whether we have a mover for the adoption of the agenda this morning. Honourable Swart moves, seconded by Honourable Majodina. I would now move to the apologies, if there is any that has been received. Mr. Klasso.
Madam Speaker, good morning. We've received from Honourable Tlagude, Honourable Kwankwa, and Honourable Kornov. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other apologies? Honourable Kalipi.
Good morning, Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Apology for the Deputy President of EFF.
Thank you. Any other apology?
Speaker, I'm aware that Honourable Adams from the NCC has a hospital appointment. I'm not sure if he filed an official apology.
He didn't, but we'll take note of it. Majosi?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Apology for Honourable Singh.
Thank you. That also will be noted. Thank you very much. I don't see any other hand for the apologies. Do I take it that the apologies are accepted? Thank you very much. Honourable members, I will now ask Ms. Tanya Lawrence just to present what the mandate of this committee is before we can proceed.
Good morning, honourable members. I hope I'm clear. There is a presentation, but it's in your packs as well. I see it's not on the screen yet. So it's the only presentation in your packs. I won't be very long. It's just for those members that have not been part of the programme committee previously. So this committee is chaired by the Speaker, and in the absence of the Speaker, it is chaired by the Deputy Speaker. The committee meets weekly and organises and determines the business of the Assembly in the short and medium term. It does this within the broad parameters of the Joint Programme Committee and the Joint Programme of Parliament. And the committee usually meets on a Thursday. I'm going to raise my voice here to make up for the screens. Usually meets on a Thursday morning before caucuses. And normally 8:30 on a Thursday morning would be our meeting. The decisions in the programming committee are taken by consensus, and if consensus cannot be reached, a decision on the question is then taken subsequently by the Chief Whip with the concurrence of the Speaker and with the Leader of Government Business in accordance with Rule 44. So the functions of the Programme Committee, and you'll see there that it says there that the functions of the Programme Committee are subject to Rule 210, and Rule 210 is specifically around how decisions are taken, so that's in terms of consensus. So this committee prepares the annual programme of the Assembly. It monitors and oversees the implementation of Parliament's annual programme, including the legislative programme. It implements the rules regarding the scheduling or programming of business of the Assembly and the functioning of Assembly committees. It makes recommendations to the Joint Programme Committee on any matter falling within the functions of that committee, and it takes decisions and issues directives and guidelines to prioritise, postpone any business of the Assembly. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Are there any questions maybe from members? As it has been indicated, the document was circulated, and I hope we've all had an opportunity to look at it. There being no hand, I take it that we have noted that important presentation, which really relates on the mandate of this committee. Honourable members, I wish to inform you that the President has since advised that he would like to deliver the opening of Parliament address on Thursday, 18th July at 19 hours. So as we factor or as we look at the program, I think we'll need to factor in that date. Before Mr. Klaso can go on with the presentation of the program, I'd like to recognize the Chief Whip to just give us an overview of the Chief Whip's Forum meeting that took place yesterday. Honorable Chief Whip.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, and good morning to all honorable members. Yes, indeed, we had our first meeting yesterday, which was well constituted and attended by the whips of almost all parties represented in the National Assembly. We went through a program in which we were looking at the substance of what will be in the sitting next week. And to a very large extent, we were able to have a consensus on many of the tasks that are before the sitting next week. I think there may be one or two matters that we agreed that we're going to have a follow-up consultation amongst us as parties in terms of the delegation to the external forums. But other than that, Madam Speaker, I think it was certainly a very good, constructive first meeting of the Chief Whips Forum, and we concluded our business very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip, and I do hope that this will then enable that our meeting is brief and short, if there has been consensus reached on the program. Mr. Klaso, I'll now ask you to present the program. Does every member have the draft program in possession? Yes, it's also on the screen for those who might not have it with them.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. Good morning, honorable members. We start with Tuesday, or Monday the 1st is Constituency Day, and Tuesday, the honorable members have asked that we do the members' information session first Tuesday morning, 8:30 till 12. The program has been circulated, the revised program for the induction program or session. And at 2 o'clock, we meet physically at the Century City Convention Center. The House will consider these items: the revival of the appropriation bill. This is the budget. The budget was not concluded at the time we went to elections, and therefore it must first be revived before it can be referred to committees. In terms of the law, the budget must be passed within 4 months from the start of the financial year. In this instance, it must be passed by end of July. Hence, we have to revive it and then deal with it. Apologies. We would also elect House chairpersons. In terms of the rules, the NA has 3 House chairpersons. So the session of Tuesday is meant to elect House chairpersons. There will also be the election of members to these bodies. That will be done by way of motions on each of the items: PAP, SADC PF, designation, Judicial Service Commission, and Magistrates Commission. So what will go before the House is motions containing names of members who will serve. So we are requesting parties to finalize not just the parties to be represented by the names, the actual names, because we need to prepare those motions. Ideally, we need to get the names like today, but we can still get them on Monday so that we can prepare the motions. By the time we meet on Tuesday, we should then have the motions ready for the House. Apologies. The motions will be put, and of course the House must decide on each of the motions. There was a request yesterday from the Chief Whips Forum that after the session we proceed with the induction. We would just like confirmation of that. Otherwise, the program as it stands now is that we adjourn the induction, and then we go to the sittings. The NA and the NCOP will be sitting that afternoon. And of course, any other urgent business, there may be a need for a committee, maybe the Rules Committee, we don't know, to meet to finalize the issue of committees. We would prefer that we keep some slot open for such engagements. Then we proceed to Wednesday, it's induction until Friday. We have made provision possibly for election of chairpersons on Friday, but will be guided. It will depend on when the Rules Committee is able to establish the committees so that we can elect chairpersons, failing which they would have to be elected the following week. Monday the 8th is constituency, 9th, budget votes in committees deliberate on budget votes, and then we commence with mini plenaries. We just want to make the point that while mini plenaries will start on the 11th, committees should still continue to meet to discuss their budget votes. So it does not mean that committees will stop meeting on the 10th of July. We've given the detail. These will be physical sittings of mini plenaries in this venue, in S12A and in the Good Hope Chamber. No hybrid, fully physical as requested by the honorable members. So that is what we are arranging at this point. Just to indicate, honorable members, all members don't have to attend the mini plenary. In any event, the venues will not be able to accommodate all the members. It's mainly those members who are located and would deal with those issues that would attend the mini plenaries. But at the same time, any other member can attend who is available to attend, space allowing. Madam Speaker, with your permission, I won't go through the detail of the mini plenaries, but just to indicate that in terms of the rules, we can take up to 3 mini plenaries at a time. Hence, we have made the arrangements as they look on the program. If we may proceed to Thursday, the 18th of July, we will then have the joint sitting on the opening of Parliament, as Madam Speaker has indicated. It's going to be at the City Hall. And we have also proposed that the debate on the opening address be the next day. The joint rules creating this opening address, honorable members, does provide that once the address has been made, it must be placed on the ATC for debate, or order paper for debate. So hence we have scheduled this debate for the next day. For now, we've set it from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. It does not have to go that long, so it could be shorter, depending on the times agreed to. We'll propose times for the debate, but it's a one-day debate. It won't be over 2 days. Then we are also proposing in the program that the President responds to the debate on Monday, the 22nd of July. We would like to, honorable members, to note that in the morning, the NA will meet to discuss Parliament's budget vote. In the afternoon, then we will convert into a joint sitting of the two houses, same venue, the City Hall. And then the very next day, we do the budget vote, vote number 1, the presidency. And then the 24th is reply by the president to the budget vote. And then on the 25th, we propose that the budget be passed by the NA. Why the 25th? Is so that the NCOP can have time to process the budget, limited as it is, to process it by end of July. We have proposed a constituency period from the 29th of July to the 19th of August. The idea is that from the 19th of August till end of the month, we would allow space for committees to meet, also for committee training, possibly, in that period, so that plenaries would only resume in September. Madam Speaker, that is the program that is being presented by the authority of the Chief Whip. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Klaso. This is the draft program, which I'm informed that the Whips Forum yesterday did look at it, and I would like to hear any reflections from members. Honorable Mhlangwini, followed by Honorable Kalipi and Honorable Majosi, Honorable Majodina, and Honorable Kwakube. And Honorable Swart.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I will just propose, Mr. Kauso, maybe perhaps on the mini plenaries, we do also allocation per political parties to the certain venues where we are going to be, so that each political party is well aware that how many members that they are going to send to that particular venue, as we are encouraging members now to be physical full-time to parliament activities. So I think that can help us in order to schedule our members in all of those debates. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kalipi.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. I think I'm partly covered by Honorable Mhlangwini. However, I just want to get a clarity from you, since Babu Kaso is saying that we need to have a motion to move for the sitting that will take place at 2 p.m. So the motion, who will be moving the motion? Because things are not the same as the past. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Majosi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yesterday on the Chief Whips Forum, when we discussed, I think Honorable Majodin had expressed that on their last meeting of the Chief Whips Forum, it was reported that they have many committees that will be available. So I thought when Mr. Klaso comes today, maybe we would have outlined that in the program, that maybe what happened to the 15, are we only sticking to the 3 because of maybe there are other measurements that took place. So I just wanted to get clarity on that, because I see that we've fielded debates also on Monday. Is it because of, is it the issue of space, or what is happening? Because if you had discussed about 15 plenaries that we would have had, why are we sticking to 3 only? Thanks.
Thank you. Honorable Majodina.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and greetings to all honorable members. Honorable Speaker, we have agreed as Chief Whips Forum yesterday that on Tuesday there will be no declarations from parties on that sitting, because it's supposed to be a very short sitting. That one at 2 o'clock, no declarations from parties. The second issue that I want to reflect on is that the caucuses are not included in this draft program. We must ensure that Thursdays, as we usually do, are put aside for caucuses the morning. But also, some parties don't even have caucus rooms, and therefore Parliament must take care of that. For the past 3 years, the ANC had to foot the bill for its caucus meetings, because our caucus venue was bent down, and we expected that Parliament will come handy to assist. On the issue of whether meetings plenaries are going to sit on virtual or hybrid or physical, we agreed yesterday that we are going to have a special Chief Whips Forum where we are going to be taken into confidence. How far is the project of rebuilding Parliament? What are the possible venues that might be used for physical plenaries? If not, what is the problem? So we said that meeting must sit as soon as possible. If you look at this parliamentary draft program, it does reflect on various plenaries that are supposed to take place, and therefore it is important that the sooner we have that meeting, the better. I think the EAs must also be part of that meeting that will be where we will be getting the update on the state of affairs on rebuilding or reconstruction of Parliament. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Kwahube.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Mr. Klaso, I just want clarity on Friday, the 5th of July. I see in the program that there is scheduled for the members' information session, but also committees and election of chairpersons. So my assumption is that committees would have to meet in order for them to elect themselves, to each committee to elect a chair. So what's the envisioned way of doing that? Because of course, you know, we need to guide our members who will be allocated to various committees, how that's going to work, whether they'll be meeting at the convention center, will the committees already been constituted by then so that they can meet and elect chairs. And I think it's important that it happens soon, because I think it would be odd for them to go to many plenaries on the budget votes without them having met as a committee first to elect their chairs and sort of set out their terms of reference. Thanks.
Thank you. Honorable Swart.
Chairperson, just regarding the mini plenaries and the decision which we support that they should be physical, the one challenge is that Mr. Kasu indicated space permitting. Now, what happens if you have MPs that are coming and there's no space for them required? So we might need to consider it, because I've just done a quick calculation. I don't think if you take those three venues together, there's enough physical space for all MPs. All MPs are then supposed to be here physically. But if there's no space, they can't be here. And I think you're then disqualifying those MPs. Now, it depends whether my maths is correct, firstly. But if that is the case, then you might need to consider that you might need to have a hybrid sit-in for that. And those members that are participating in the debates, as previously, are then expected to be here physically. Because you can't disqualify people from being in the House if there's no space. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've noted those 6 hands, 5. Is there anyone who also wants to raise a question? Okay, Honorable Majority.
Speaker, we know that Mondays are constituencies through political days. However, because we have lost some time, we agreed that the program must stand as it is, so that we also allow time for the NCOP to be able to do some work. Because if we don't have that plenary as scheduled for the 22nd on Monday, we might put NCOP in a very problematic situation. Therefore, we're notwithstanding that Mondays are supposed to be a constituency day, but we're going to bend a little bit so that we allow this process to unfold. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Frolick.
No, good morning, Honorable Speaker, and also good morning to the colleagues. I think the Honorable Kwahube has raised a valid point in terms of this process that will unfold to constitute the different committees. What we must keep in mind is that the Honorable Majordina requested and reported back earlier that we'll get a status report on the availability of certain venues. And that report will have a big impact on the determination that will be made. And then as far as the mini plenaries are concerned, Honorable Swart has raised the issue of possible hybrid sittings, but we must also be realistic that in the past, when we had these physical mini plenaries that took place, at the beginning the attendance is very, very good, but it just flattens out towards the end, and then it defeats the purpose of a hybrid sitting, really. And it becomes problematic because if you run 3 mini plenaries at the same time on a hybrid basis, it extends and stretches the resources of Parliament to be able to provide a quality backup service on hybrid as well, because it impacts on interpretation services that must be simultaneously available. So we must consider what we did in the past is to allocate to each political party, if it's physical EPCs or mini plenaries, a certain number of seats. And colleagues, it's not uncommon if you go to other parliaments in the world that when MPs arrive and the venue is full, they stand at the back. We must consider those things under the current conditions that we have, where we do not have the main chamber available and the supporting rooms. So I would strongly suggest, Honourable Speaker, that we look at an allocation of political parties for the attendance of these different mini plenaries, especially in the light that the other parties, the smaller parties, don't have enough members to attend all those mini plenaries anyway.
Thank you. Honourable Kalipi.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I think I support the proposal of that comprehensive report. As soon as possible, we can be able to have a way forward. If you remember very well, former chairs of chairs and the former chief whip of the ANC, even in the programming committee, we keep on saying, Parliament, please give us a plan, because once we open Parliament on the 29th of May, after 29th of May elections, we need to know what will happen. We didn't anticipate that there will be new members like the new political party of MKA. But we are saying 400 members need to be accommodated in one place. We keep on stretching on that point. So I think this is needed. And the other issue, as we're discussing the issue of venues, even last time, in the last term, we also raised this issue of other committee members were meeting in hotels. And it was not even clear with how much is Parliament footing the bill when the committee is meeting in a hotel. So all those things will put into perspective when you get that information that we keep on asking about the opening of Parliament and the physical sitting. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Given the agency, I've just been looking at the proposal and on what was requested by the whipper yesterday, that on Tuesday, the 2nd of July, if the administration of Parliament is ready, we will have the morning session, which is the membership session. We then have a plenary where we discuss the election of those and the revival of appropriation. And instead of continuing with the members' information session, I would suggest that maybe we then have the meeting that you are requesting for a comprehensive briefing on where we are with Parliament reconstruction, so that we allow other members to take leave after the plenary, and we then sit as the whippery, I assume. We then get that detailed briefing. Secretary, will that be okay?
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson. Yes, we will be able to do that. We are ready to present on what work we have done on the options, as well as consultations we have done around securing permanent space. So those options will be shared on the day in question. Just for my clarity, Madam Speaker, yesterday, as the former Chief Whip is indicating, it was agreed that we must prepare that report. We also considered induction yesterday, and it was agreed that there should be induction utilized for that Tuesday instead of Wednesday, and then 2 p.m. the plenary takes place for both houses. So I just want to check if there's that Tuesday morning. So is the request that we must present, there will be a programming, or it will be a Chief Whip's forum where we'll be presenting the comprehensive report on the rebuilding?
Okay, the suggestion I was having is that on the morning, which is 8:30 to 12, the induction continues. And then we have the plenary, where we will be reviving the appropriations bill and the election of House chairpersons and elections of members of PAP, designation of reps, all of that. And assuming that parties would have consulted in between, and therefore the session will not be longer. And then after that, that's where that meeting takes place on the briefing. Honorable Majodina.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I agree. I want to second your suggestion that morning session is induction, afternoon is plenary, then immediately after plenary, we as the extended Chief Whip's forum, because we will require the presiding officers or the EAs to be there. We usually hold those meetings in a close sort of manner. Hence, it must be in the Chief Whip's forum, not in the NAPC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chief Whip.
No, thanks, Madam Speaker. I think there's no problem with that approach. But then the question that arises, yesterday we had agreed that in the afternoon, after the sitting, we would proceed with the induction. And the reason why we took that decision was that we want to ensure that there is sufficient time throughout until Friday for members to be properly orientated. Now, I think the question that we need to answer, having taken this decision, which I have no objection with, because it's one of the matters that we consider to be urgent in our meeting yesterday. What then becomes the implication of the induction program leading to the Friday? Because two things we wanted to avoid. The first one was to pay lip service on the induction. We didn't want that because we've got too many new members. The second one was that we also did not want a highly concentrated and tough program, which will not allow new members to properly assimilate what is essentially being transmitted to them. So I think we need your office needs to help us about how to streamline in such a manner that the two considerations are taken on board. Because the meeting in the afternoon, I think we all agree, it's an important meeting given the fact that the issues about the venues are very urgent and we need to take decisions about them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip. We will indeed consider how we spread out what was going to happen in the afternoon to make sure that we still give enough time for induction. But I appreciate that you also do consider that this meeting is urgent in order to advise us going forward on the venues and how we meet. I'll then ask Mr. Klaso. Okay, maybe before he responds, yes, Honourable Mentor.
Thank you, Speaker. That issue which the Chief Whip is raising, I think we also dealt with it yesterday. It's just 1 hour after the plenary session. So that 1 hour, we can take it to Friday, because Friday is 14:45. We can take that 1 hour to Friday, and then any other business that was going to follow on Friday starts after we're done. Because also we need to really do away with the mentality that Friday is not a working day. Then we work on Friday. People can leave on Saturday. Parliament has given us accommodation. We stay in Cape Town. We have flights the following day everywhere. So there is no train smash. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that proposal on what we need to consider. I will then now ask Mr. Klaso to respond on the issues that were raised earlier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We also wish to indicate that the program we circulated last night already takes this into account. It ends at lunchtime, so that will enable the Chief Whips and the Honourable Speaker and Deputy Speaker to meet after the sitting of the House. So we have already made those adjustments. Who moves these motions? On Tuesday, these types of motions are moved by the Chief Whip of the majority party, of the largest party. So we would propose that that remains the case. These are formal motions that include all the members of the House.
I go to a largest party.
Order,
I've said
members, let's allow Mr. Klaso to respond.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have noted the request, and I think it's going to help the process, that we do allocation for these venues of seats to parties. So we'll work on that so that it's predictable. Parties know how many seats they can occupy in a mini plenary. And in terms of the matter raised by Honourable Majosi, we just want to clarify that the three venues we're talking about are for mini plenaries, not for portfolio committee meetings. And in terms of the rules, you can only have 3 mini plenaries at a time. That's why we're speaking about these three venues.
But also, just indicate, Mr. Klaso, that there will be a session in the morning and another session in the afternoon.
Yes.
So it will be 6 in a day.
Yes, 6 to 9 in a day. At a given point, we'll have 3 mini plenaries, and then say from 10 o'clock to 12, I'm giving an example, from 1 to 2, 3 at a time. So that's what will happen. Caucus rooms, we have noted the point by the Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Majordina, and we will obviously, Secretary, as he has indicated, we are working on making sure that there are venues available. When we meet at the City Hall, it's usually not an issue because there are enough venues there. Honorable Kwahube, the constitution of committees, it's really going to depend on the constitution of the cabinet. If Friday does not work, we'll obviously consult. We'll, in fact, even use the meeting of Tuesday afternoon to consult on this matter. If that Friday does not work, we will then take it to the following week, maybe the Monday, I'm not sure. Madam Speaker, those are the main issues that have been raised. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I just want to indicate that depending on when the decision is made to constitute government, we may require an urgent meeting of the Rules Subcommittee first to look at the proposal for the portfolio committees, and we might also need to then have an urgent Rules Committee meeting to receive that proposal and then finalize. We all agreed? Agreed. Colleagues, we've just responded to the questions that have been raised in respect of the program. Do I take it that we then agree with the proposed program? Thank you. There is no other business. This brings us to the end of the meeting. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.